Hello YouTube and welcome to the next route learning video. So on today's video I'm going to continue the journey along the Liverpool to Manchester route from Manchester towards Liverpool in a stopping train. So in my last video on this route we drove from Manchester Piccadilly to Warrington Central in a class 150. And so for this part of the video we're going to be driving a class 142 Pacer. This is the Armstrong Powerhouse class 142 pack. We're going to be driving from Warrington Central to Liverpool Lime Street, which is a distance of around 18¼ miles. We'll be calling at Sankey for Penketh, Widnes, Hough Green, Halewood, Hunts Cross, Liverpool South Parkway, West Allerton, Mossley Hill, Edgehill, and finally Liverpool Lime Street. The Class 142 Pacer was built between 1985 and 1987 by Brell Derby and Leyland Bus. A total of 96 of these trains were built and there are 2 coaches per train. Unlike most trains there are only 4 wheels per coach instead of 8, so there's no bogies on this train. It certainly makes for a very lively ride quality in real life and a very bouncy ride. So as you can see, this is in Regional Railways livery. We're doing this scenario in BR days, which will allow us to see a number of Regional Railways liveried multiple units and also an Intercity Class 87 set when we reach the main line towards Liverpool. The maximum speed of these units is 75 miles per hour and they're fitted with a 225 horsepower engine, so there's not a lot of power for these trains, resulting in quite a low acceleration rate. Once inside the cab of the Class 142, the first thing I need to do is put it into forward and reset the AWS self-test sequence. Once I've done that, I can see that the signal is clear, so I can deactivate the driver's reminder appliance. I've already put the headlights on, so now I need to turn on the instrument lights so we can see them more clearly, and the destination light. We have here a standard Westcode 3-step brake. So from release to step 1 to 3, which is full service, and then finally the emergency position. We have a 2-tone horn in the middle, and then we have a 7-step power controller to the right. So now we're looking at the driver's cab from the second man's side, and you can see that it's actually a very detailed cab. Armstrong Powerhouse and Wagons did a very good job on this, I really think. And so the last thing I'm going to do, as you'll know if you've watched my previous videos, is open the windows, because I like the sound of the engines and the air rushing past, which you can hear much better with the windows open. And so now we're almost ready to depart. Departing from Warrington Central, the starting speed limit is 40 miles per hour, and we've got around 2½ miles to go to the next stop, which is Sankey for Penketh. As we reach 40 miles per hour, I'm now going to shut off power just to let the train coast for a moment. The speed limit will shortly be going up to 50 miles per hour, at which point I will go back into full power. As you can see, the speed limit is now going up to 50 miles per hour, so I'll reapply full power. This train is short enough and the power takes long enough to engage that you don't have to worry about where the rear of the train is. As soon as the front of the train has passed a speed board, if you go into full power, it will be absolutely fine, you won't be speeding at any point. Once again, as we reach 50 miles per hour, I'm now going to shut off power to allow the train to coast temporarily. The speed limit will shortly be going up to 85 miles per hour, though we do have to bear in mind that with this train, the maximum speed being 75, we can't actually go above 75 on this journey. So we've now entered the 85 mile per hour speed zone, and I'm going back into full power. The signal that you can see coming up just ahead is a distance signal, which means it can only show a green or a yellow aspect, not a red aspect, so it's purely as a cautionary signal. And as we pass this, we're around a mile from our stop. Now on this right hand curve, as we leave the curve, I'm going to shut off power and allow the train to coast, and we will shortly be braking at the overbridge you can see coming up just ahead. There is no clear stop marker at many of the stations on this route for a train of this length, so it is a bit of guesswork. Here at Sankey for Pencoth, I'm going to try and stop towards the end of the building to our left here. Departing Sankey for Pencoth, the starting speed limit is still 85 miles per hour, and we've got just over 3.5 miles to go to the next stop, which is Widnes. The power station that you can see to the left of us there, I believe, is Fiddler's Ferry Coal Power Station. The signal that we've just passed is once again a distance signal, so now we need to keep an eye out for the next signal, which will be the home signal, as they're known, and that signal will be 1 mile from our stop at Widnes. So here is the home signal. We're now 1 mile from our stop. I'm going to idle the power here and allow the train to coast. As a braking point, I'm going to use the next overbridge after this one that you can see just ahead with a slight arch shape to it. I am now applying the brakes for our stop. Here at Widnes, I'm aiming to stop just before the footbridge here, and that looked to be about the right stopping place. Departing from Widnes, the starting speed limit is still 85 miles per hour. We've got around 1 3/4 miles to go to the next stop, which is Hough Green. As we approach 55 miles per hour, I'm going to idle the power and allow the train to coast. The previous signal we passed was a distance signal, so this is a home signal coming up ahead. And I'm going to use the signal coming up as the braking point for our stop. Here at Hough Green, I'm going to stop towards the end of the platform, near the platform building which you can see coming up just on the left now. I've come in just slightly too slow, I braked slightly too early there. Departing Hough Green, the starting speed limit is still 85 miles per hour, and we've got around 2 1/3 miles to go to the next stop, which is Halewood. Now that we've got to just over 60 miles per hour, I'm going to idle the power and allow the train to coast. We will be braking for our stop just before the next signal, and I can just see the green glow of that signal coming up now. So as we reach the AWS ramp for this signal, I'm going to put the brake straight into step 2 to slow down for our stop at Halewood. I'm not quite sure why we got a warning on the AWS there, as the signal is in fact green. So here at Halewood, I aim to stop just beyond these shelters, just as the information board there becomes visible in the left window. Departing Halewood, the starting speed limit is still 85 miles per hour, and we've got just over a mile to go to the next stop, which is Hunt's Cross. See, we now have a flashing yellow approach control signal just ahead. This is actually half a mile from our stop, so as we pass the signal, I'm going to idle the power and coast. And we will be braking shortly at the next overbridge, which is the long one you can see coming up now. So I am now braking for our stop at Hunts Cross. Coming in slightly quicker than I planned, but we will still stop in around the right place, which is coming up just towards the end here. Where these people are standing. As you can see here at Hunts Cross, there is actually a third rail in place. This is for the Merseyrail network, which operates around the Liverpool metropolitan and suburban area. I believe it's the only place outside London and the South East in the whole of the United Kingdom electrified on the third rail system. Departing Hunts Cross, the starting speed limit is still 85 miles per hour, though it will soon be going down to 30. And we've got 1.5 miles to go to the next stop, which is Liverpool South Parkway. As we reach this next signal, I'm now going to idle the power and coast, and I will very shortly be braking for the 30 mile per hour speed limit. Now at 30 miles per hour, I'm going to allow the train to continue to coast, as the speed limit will shortly be going down to 20 miles per hour just after the next signal. Now in the 20 mile per hour speed zone, I'm going to allow the train to continue to coast. Liverpool South Parkway station is just around this corner as we join the main line, which has come from Crewe and London Euston. As you can see, we're now under overhead wires as this section of track is electrified from Liverpool all the way into London. So here at Liverpool South Parkway, I'm going to aim to stop shortly before the 3-coach stop sign. Liverpool South Parkway wasn't actually open in British Rail days, so there's a little bit of creative licence being used here, much like Dovetail Games used when they gave us the Regional Railways Class 150. So this is actually a fairly new station. I believe it was opened somewhere around 2006. Departing Liverpool South Parkway, the starting speed limit is 80 miles per hour, and we've got around 1 mile to go to the next stop, which is West Allerton. As we pass under this signal and then the following overbridge, I'm going to shut off power and allow the train to coast. We will be braking for our stop at West Allerton as we enter the next right-hand curve. Here at West Allerton we do need to stop right at the end of the platform. Departing West Allerton, the starting speed limit is still 80 miles per hour, and we've got just under 3/4 of a mile to go to the next stop, which is Mossley Hill. As we reach 40 miles per hour, I'm now going to shut off the power. You can actually see the platforms of our stop coming up. There's no clear braking point here, I just say brake at your discretion. Once again here at Mossley Hill we do need to stop right at the end of the platform. Departing Mossley Hill, the starting speed limit is still 80 miles per hour, and we've got around 2.5 miles to go to the next stop, which is Edgehill. Coming up on our right now is an Intercity Class 87 set with Mark III coaches and a Mark III DVT on the front. We are climbing along here on a gradient of 1 in 113, which will affect our acceleration rate. And we will need to soon slow down for a 30 mph speed limit. So we now have the warning for the 30 mph speed limit. I'm going to idle the power at the next signal. And at the following signal is where the 30 mph speed limit comes into force. As I wasn't exactly sure where the next signal is as I can't see it, I just made a very light step 1 brake application. And now we're at 30 mph and I can see the next signal just coming up, which is the green aspect you can see. So I did brake slightly too early there. The speed limit is now 30 mph. We will shortly be going downhill on a gradient of 1 in 93. At that point we will see our speed start to increase on the speedometer, and I will use the brakes to ensure that we don't break the speed limit. We are now gaining a little bit of speed, so I'm just making a step 1 brake application to bring us back down towards 25 mph. And as the needle's now pointing there, I've released the brakes to allow us to gain speed again. I will reapply the brakes if we reach 30 mph. The gradient is now levelling out. The speed limit will shortly be going down to 25 mph as we cross over on a point in a moment. So I did just allow the train to coast there, and then made a very minimal brake application to ensure that we were down to 25 mph. You can now see the platforms at Edgehill just coming up. So at Edgehill just here, I want to stop just as the building ends on the right, which it now has. For some reason during our stop at Edgehill, the signal in front of me decided to change to red. I pressed tab to request permission to pass, and it's granted it to me, which is why I'm proceeding ahead through a red signal. The starting speed limit here is 30 miles per hour, and we've got around 1 1/3 miles to go to the final stop, which is Liverpool Lime Street. Now, as we're just over 20 miles per hour, heading towards 25, I've shut off power, as we will shortly be going downhill on varying gradients between 1 in 136 and 1 in 93. So we will gradually gather speed, and I will need to use the brakes to control our speed. I've made a light step 1 brake application now, just to bring our speed under control, and as we reach 25 miles per hour, I will release the brakes again. The signal we've just passed with the 6 above it indicates that we are cleared into Liverpool Lime Street Platform 6. The speed limit will shortly be going down to 15 miles per hour, so I'm just going to brake for that in a second. As you can see that our track is about to join the track to the right. The 15 mile per hour speed limit comes into force just before this curve. So the speed limit is now 15 miles per hour all of the way into Liverpool Lime Street. I'm just briefly applying a little bit of power to bring our speed back up towards 15 and now shutting off. As we head towards the end of the platform, I have now reduced our speed to 10 miles per hour, and then I'll gradually brake as we get closer to the buffer stops at the end. Here we are, arrival at Liverpool Lime Street. Thanks for watching and I hope you've enjoyed the video.